The first snow of the season began to fall, drifting through the air, soft and utterly silent. In Creature Village, the lanterns cast a dim, warm glow against clouds heavy with light. From his window, a small furry creature named Thimble watched, his voice full of excitement. "It's finally here! The Winter Whisper!" Beside him floated Luna, his tiny, glowing companion. Her usual warm light was cooler today. "Listen closely," she whispered, her voice barely a breath. "The snow, it's quieter this year." Thimble paused, tilting his head. She was right. The familiar hum of the village was gone. The laughter from the square, the distant chatter from the market, even the faint songs that usually drifted on the wind. All of it had vanished, swallowed by the falling snow. By midday, the silence was absolute. Not a single voice rose above the soft, muffled crunch of boots on fresh powder. Nim, the village's energetic flyer, zipped between rooftops, his mouth forming words that made no sound. Down below, Elda, the baker, tried to hum a cheerful tune while helping Brick carve wooden decorations for the festival. But the melody died on her lips, absorbed by the strange hush. Thimble, ever the tinkerer, clapped his paws together experimentally. Nothing. Not even the faintest echo returned. It was as if sound itself had been erased. Luna hovered anxiously, her light flickering. "It's not just quiet," she murmured, her voice a tiny pinprick in the vast silence. "The snow itself. It's listening." As dusk painted the sky in shades of purple and rose, a majestic figure descended into the village square. It was Elder Orin, his enormous wings catching the lamplight. He landed as gracefully as a snowflake next to the central fountain, his presence bringing a sense of calm to the unnerved villagers. He bowed his great feathered head. His voice, though quiet, was clear and steady, cutting through the silence that had muted everyone else. "The snow of listening returns once in a century," he explained, his words echoing in their minds rather than their ears. "It silences our words to awaken our hearts." Thimble looked up, his wide eyes full of questions. "So, we can't talk our way through this," he mouthed silently. Nim, perched on a nearby statue, gestured dramatically, a flurry of hand signals conveying his thought. "Guess it's a quiet mystery, then." Their attention turned to the great lantern in the center of the square. It was the heart of the village, its light a symbol of their community and warmth. But now, it was completely frozen over, its inner glow struggling to break through a thick layer of ice. Intricate frost patterns spiraled outward from its base, forming a shimmering trail that led away from the village and toward the deep, dark forest. Luna floated closer, her light reflecting off the frost. "The silence began here," she communicated, her glow pulsing with certainty. Thimble gripped the small wrench he always carried, his knuckles white. "Then that's where we'll fix it," he determined, his gaze firm. The small group, Thimble, Luna, and the ever-curious Nim, set off, following the frosty path. Each footstep was muffled by the listening hush. They couldn't speak, but their eyes said everything: curiosity, courage, and just a spark of fear for the unknown that lay ahead. The trail led them deep into the woods, where the snow began to swirl into a silver storm. Just as the wind howled its loudest, they broke through the trees into a clearing. The sight before them stole their breath. The clearing glowed with a faint, ethereal blue light, and rising from the ground was an enormous mirror made of pure, translucent ice. But it didn't reflect their images. Instead, swirling within its depths were memories, scenes from the past, glowing like captured starlight. Nim saw a reflection of himself, laughing with his friend Pella, their joy bright and clear. Thimble saw a younger version of himself, eyes shining with pride as he put the finishing touch on his very first invention. And Luna saw the village square, alive with the shimmering lights of a past festival, a memory of a time when the world was full of sound and light. It was then that Luna's voice, fragile but audible, finally broke through the silence. "It's showing us what we've forgotten," she whispered. "Not just how to speak, but how to listen." Realization dawned. The snow wasn't a curse, it was a lesson. Understanding this, Luna's own glow brightened, pulsing with a warmth that seemed to push back against the cold. Thimble stepped forward and gently, almost reverently, struck the ice mirror with his wrench. It didn't shatter. Instead, it sang. A single, pure note rang out, rippling through the clearing like a heartbeat. The sound wave spread, and as it touched the falling snow, something magical happened. The snowflakes stopped falling and began to float upward, turning from white to shimmering gold. As the sound traveled back toward the village, it carried something with it. Faintly at first, then growing stronger, the sound of the villagers' laughter returned on the breeze, blending with the singing of the ice. Elder Orin's voice carried from afar, full of ancient wisdom. The world needed a moment of silence, he proclaimed, to remember how to truly hear. As the first rays of morning sun broke over the horizon, the last of the snow's stillness began to melt away. Golden light washed over the cobblestones, and steam rose from the thawing lanterns as their warmth returned. Creatures spilled out into the square, their voices no longer silenced. Joyful shouts and happy laughter echoed off the rooftops once more. Thimble bent down and cupped a single, melting snowflake in his paw. He held it to his ear and listened. A faint, melodic hum lingered within it. Luna smiled, her light warm and bright again. "Even silence can hold a song," she said softly. Nim, unable to contain himself any longer, threw his arms up and cheered at the top of his lungs. "And now it's my turn to make some noise. I missed the sound of my own amazing voice." From high above, Elder Orin glided on the morning air, watching as laughter and conversation bloomed once again across the village rooftops. He smiled, a calm, knowing expression on his face. And when the world finally stopped to listen, it found a way to shine even brighter than before.